You should like imagine asking me
It worked on my phone.
It did?
Yeah.
Just cancel it because I wasn't watching anything else. Yeah, I gotta change it. Well, yeah, that's the previous version, because I had to stop it. So that's not live, that's recorded.
So you want me to
luckily, instead of replaying it, so all I have to do is go to the new link.
Yeah, no, he's not starting again.
No. Live? That was fast. So we're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Okay, I'll deal with it. Keep going.
Are we recording?
You're good.
Alright, we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome to Demo Day. So if you are not familiar with the format, it will be students have been pitched by companies here in San Diego to build a particular type of project. So they'll kind of review who they are and then introduce the employer if they happen to be in the room. I think all of them but one are here today. And then go through their presentation. We have 3 today. After the 3 presentations, we'll actually go up to Suite 1100 and we'll have pizza and beer up there for everybody to like hang out and talk and etc. So without further delay, go for it.
Well, we're going to start. We're going to let Mr. Chris, who's the product owner of the Vault, we're going to let him introduce the application, and we're going to go into demo the application. Mr. Chris.
Yeah, so our company is called Vault RMS, and we have an app called Exposure Tracker. It makes it so firefighters can document every time they get exposed to a carcinogenic environment. And a bunch of our customers have asked us to digitize their injury forms because they get injured often and they have to fill out these workers' comp forms and go through a arduous paper-based process. So we partnered with these amazing gentlemen to digitize a handful of these forms that they have and pass around, and the customers have seen what they've built already and they absolutely love it, and it's going to help us close some business. So they did a kick-ass job.
Nice. Thank you. All right, so good afternoon. My name is Eric Green. I'm one of the developers helping here, and we're going to meet the developers. We're going to talk about conception, and we're also going to talk about application technologies. Let's meet the developers. Once again, my name is Eric Green. A little bit about myself. I was a military veteran, a deep sea diving medical technician, dealing mostly in emergency medicine and hyperbarics. The Navy taught me responsibility, gave me the ability to complete tasks under pressure and work with a team to complete various missions. Once I completed my time in the military and my time in it, I completed my goals, I still had a drive to learn. I love technology, and I felt my current medical training wasn't sending me in the right track that I really wanted to. So that's how I found Origin Code Academy. It helped me launch my tech career. Cameron and the other instructors carried a great range of knowledge, and they helped me. They gave me confidence, gave me skills that I feel that I'm able to contribute to any team. Through these months, the learning curve was very sharp. But I pushed myself in all aspects to complete the course, and I live by a quote by Muhammad Ali. He who's not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Now I'm going to let Francisco introduce himself.
Hey guys, my name is Francisco. Before I came to Origin, I took a few college classes, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And then I was introduced to Origin, just a random ad on Facebook. And I had said, what's coding? And I checked it out. I started instantly loving coding. It was just really fun to learn. I always like challenges. After going through Origin, I became excited about the next steps of my career, I guess you can say. Finding a job, and most of all, learning more about coding. I just really love to learn everything about it. and I'll just hand it off to Matt.
Hi, my name is Matthew. Before I started here at Origin, I went to college and got a degree in chemistry. And for the last 4 years, I've been working here in San Diego in the biotech industry. And I had a pretty good time in the industry, but I've always been gravitated towards technology, so I decided to pursue a career change and continue to pursue my passion here in web technology. Ever since here at Origin, I feel like I've learned a lot, and now I have the skills and tools I need to build almost any website or web application I want to put my mind to. So I'm definitely excited to introduce this app to you guys and continue learning more about coding as we proceed.
And together we make Team Vault. We got a plan for success. We started this project on the 10th of August. We had a couple goals. Our first goal was to ensure that the lines of communication were always open with Chris and to ensure that we stayed on track with him and his team. Accountability. Accountability was very important to us. It was high on our priority list. It was important that any task that we individually accepted or we mod programmed, that we would get it done as we saw. And the 1%. 1% was encompassing our drive in the application and also to improve ourselves and as developers in the application 1% per day. And now we're going to talk about conception. So documenting information correctly and proficiently, like Chris said, there was a problem that needed to be solved. The application needed firefighters, the application would help firefighters automate this process that would really rely on a painful process, paper trail, leading to lost documents and really long timelines. So what we did was this. So we had to remove this process.
Okay, so this is our diagram about what the process looks like right now. As you can see, it kind of looks like a mess. You have a firefighter right over here. He has to fill out like 4 to 5 forms every time an incident happens, any kind of injury incident. It goes here to the supervisor and it has to go back and forth and get reviewed and corrected. After that, it goes to HR, sometimes it goes to the hospital. And there's just a whole mess of stuff that we're trying to make it easier for the firefighter. So here's an example of one of the forms. It's a pretty standard form. You fill out like your name, address, some of the patient info, social security numbers. Here's another form that a physician would fill out. It's like a little checklist of if they can do stuff that firefighters are supposed to do, calling your hands and knees and stuff like that. And then here's a third form that kind of similar to the first one. It's just a lot of stuff that employer has to handwrite over and over again. And why do that when you can digitize it and make it better? So hopefully our app addresses that issue.
So what we had to do is we had to develop an application, test it, implement it, and also bring you guys an application that's available on any platform. Next, we'll talk about application technologies.
All right, so these are some of the programs we use for our application. Some of the important ones would be Resilio. That's the one where we put all the PDF files into so we can share amongst each other. Visual Code, which is where we wrote our code in. We also had Angular Material and Bootstrap, which is the styling you'll see in our application. This right here is Trello. That's more of who's doing what at what time, so we don't do the same thing all at once. Chai and Mocha was used for testing. We did a lot of testing on our routes. And then we did HTML to PDF. And that just basically makes our forms from digital to a PDF file. We use Passport as well for user authentication. Make sure only the user can see his information because it's kind of private stuff, The big 4 ones we've used is Mean, which is Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node. Mongo was used for our database. That's where we stored all our data in. Express was where it allowed us to connect to our routes to go to certain pages and stuff like that. Angular was used for our front end, and Node was used for our server-side JavaScript. All right, so let's demo the application.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into our application. This is the landing page, the front page. It's pretty straightforward. It's just looking for some credentials, some username and ID, and passwords. So all the users, the firefighters, are already preloaded into the database. So we're going to go ahead and sign in with our first user. Our first user, his name is actually Eric Green. And I'll go ahead and type in his password. And so now you can see that he's logged in as Eric Green at the top. We kept that page is pretty simple. There's 2 things you can do here on this form, either select the form or log out. We won't log out since we just logged in, so we'll go ahead and select the form. So to select the form, you choose what state or county you're fighting fires in. So we'll go ahead and start with Littleton, Colorado, and then the second form will show up, and then you can choose the next one that's going to be available to that Cedar County. So we'll go ahead and start with the accident form and select one.
So the first thing comes up is the accident injury form. This is normally a form that a firefighter would have to fill out every single time an incident happens. His information won't get stored, but with this application, he's able to input it one time, and be able to see his results and send it to his supervisor very easily. So Matthew's filled out all the pertinent information that a normal firefighter would have to fill out in a situation where he has an accident. And you notice like some information may be that fire department may need and some may not, so he can go input that information as he needed. So he's inputting all the name of the injury, injury details, the names of the witnesses, and the city side and unit people involved. These forms can be fixed for any department, and so it can be changed. But for this particular location, they have things like the vehicle and also workplace driver's ticket. So once he submits the form, he's going to see his confirmation page. That'll show him all the information that's already pre-populated, which is his name, the user's name, and then all the information he just put into that form. And once he verifies it's all correct, he prints the form. Once he prints the form, he's going to be shown a PDF. That PDF is normally what he would have to handwrite, but it's already electronically populated for him. He's able to keep that copy for his records, and it'll automatically get sent off to his supervisor.
All right, and then from this page, this is the success page. Basically, you did things right? And then you can log out, or you can select another form. You can just select another form for now. All right, emergency response form. So again, this is another form that a firefighter would have to fill out. As you can see, some of the information got stored into the database already, so it's pre-filled out, like Eric Green and his home phone, his social security, stuff like that. And then we're just gonna fill out the rest of the fields that are, some are mandatory, some are not. So right here, he has to fill out 3 additional emergency response. So the good thing about it is, like, let's say you finish this off, right? This is taking like a long time. You have to search up all this information, all that good stuff, and then you send it off to your supervisor. Your supervisor doesn't get it. You have to log in again, right? But all the information will still be stored. So when you log in, you can open it up and just click send again. It makes it easier than filling it out by hand again, you know, instead of online. Alright, so right here you can either hit no or yes. If it's yes, you can see it asks for more information. So we'll type that up, and then the last 3 right here. And then just the signature. So once he's done with all that, we'll go ahead and submit the form. And as you can see, everything is filled out again according to how he filled it out just right now. Make sure everything's okay, just hit print form. And then again, a PDF file will start generating. And I'll be right there. And this is the form that you would have to fill out originally by hand, but now it's filled through the computer. A lot more easier to send, to print, to do whatever you want. And then from here you can select another form or log out. I think we'll just log out for now. Alright. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Maybe I missed it, but if a form asks for, or if multiple forms ask for like the same bit of information, like a name or like a date of incident, do you have them fill it out multiple times, or do you say that and like back or fill it in for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you're asking if some of the forms get auto-populated with some field that's some data that's already stored in our database, right?
Or like duplicate data, like if I need to fill in my name for
I
every
see.
form,
Yeah.
can it save me time like that?
Okay, so our apps, or our forms are auto-filled with like a master key, which has like first name, last name, address, and like stuff that's not going to change, right? For this specific incident, you'll have to fill it out yourself, but I can see what you mean where like if you fill it out that first time, the second time you fill out a form, we can add that same incident information. We didn't incorporate that yet, but that could be the next step of the application.
How did you guys approach this project? Did you do test-driven development? Did you just test sporadically throughout the application as needed? Did you kind of wait towards the end? How did you approach that? And how did you separate the workload?
So approaching the project, right? We approached the project first. We started building off the back end first because we wanted to make sure everything saved before we even started the front end. We just built simple web pages that ask for your first name and last name, and that's it. And then it would store, make sure we had everything stored in the database before we continued making more of the web page. Did I answer your question?
Well, what about the testing aspect? Did you?
Testing wise, we tested our routes using the Mocha and Chai. We made sure everything you can go retrieve the data, not just it's just there. We want to make sure we can retrieve it and then call it back whenever the user needs it. Okay. Any other questions?
Do you have like a rough idea like how much time or effort this is actually saving?
So you're asking how much time or effort it's saving the firefighter or saving?
Yeah, or the department in general.
So that's a great question. So what we got from Chris was they really had a process of really the time length. We didn't know the exact time where they would be decreasing them, but what we wanted to do is expedite the process and ensure that a lot of documents didn't get lost. He had a problem with personnel, sending off documents and it not getting back or long periods of time. So this should help. This application should help solidify that process of cleaning up the timeline and also ensuring that the information that the firefighter inputs gets sent to his supervisor.
And to piggyback off that, one of the issues, so with Littleton, that's a department in a city actually in Colorado that we're working with this on, and their city HR manager, she's had a hard time with the firefighters filling out the forms, and then she realizes they didn't put their social security number or some pertinent information in there. So having the validation built in there will make her job a lot easier. So instead of taking a physical form back to them, having them fill it out, and then it's just streamlines that.
What was the most difficult part?
So you asked me what the most difficult part was, right? I think each, I don't know, a little special comment with the project. So I'll go first. Mine was getting the forms to actually turn into PDF, getting all the data input on there. I went to Cameron, he gave me a great solution, but it actually didn't really work for what we were doing. His solution was in C#. So I actually talked to Chris's developer too, and he had a pretty good idea. So I tried to go with that, and that didn't work either. So I had a lot of research to do, and then finally I came upon a solution myself that actually worked really well. And it was really encouraging to find out that I could solve the problem myself, even if I couldn't get like the right help.
One problem that I worked through was Passport.js, which is an authentication system that I'd never had any touch with, but it gave us a lot of trouble in the sense that I had to really build it a separate application and then integrate it in the one that we currently had. The first part of getting it started up and then also integrating, but once again, Passport was important, and it was hard for me because it was, like Chris said, it was important to secure these guys' socials, personal information, and Passport is a really good way of encrypting passwords and encrypting the information you put in, so it saves that supervisor or that HR that trouble of worrying about losing that important information.
And then the one I had problems with is I was in charge of making sure our database worked, make sure the front end could grab the information from the back end. And we used Mongo for this one. During class we didn't really touch on it too much, but we did use MySQL, so it kind of helped out that we used MySQL because it kind of implements the same thing as Mongo.
Does that answer your question? Any more questions?
Thank you guys very much. Thank you.
He has a little present.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
Oh.
Let's be gone in about 5 seconds.
Thank you very much.
Oh, all right, sweet, nice.
It's probably like how it's grabbing the data from the database and then importing it.
All right, good night, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brian Chavez, and my journey to be in front of all you wonderful people here today could probably be classified as one of those paths less traveled. It started when I taught myself how to program in BASIC when I was about 10 years old. I remember I actually won a, I actually learned a program on the Apple IIe. I don't know if you guys remember that. I actually won a programming contest, and I thought I was like the coolest guy in the world. I probably wasn't. I continued in high school to program in Pascal, and I remember writing an app to help teachers keep track of kids' grades, the students' grades. And I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. I wasn't. But then, you know, this was before the internet, and who knew that you could make any money programming for a living, right? So I went to Notre Dame and I studied biochemistry. After graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Biochemistry, I decided I didn't want to wear a white lab coat for the rest of my life. So I did the obvious thing any biochemist would do when he doesn't want to work in a laboratory. And I went to Costa Rica and I started a dive resort. Over the course of the last 20 years, I've built a business to the point where it's self-sufficient. The first 10 years were spent building the rooms, the restaurant, the facilities needed for a hotel. I honed my problem-solving skills during this time. I mean, you can only imagine the kind of problems that arise building a hotel and operating a scuba dive shop in the middle of the jungle. The last 10 years, we're building all the systems and processes needed for me to return to the United States. Also, one of the big challenges during this time was training and developing the staff, which now operate the hotel in a very effective and efficient manner. Recently, with kids starting school, our family decided to move back to the United States and begin a new adventure. With a lot of time on my hands and needing a new challenge, I decided to revisit my interest in programming. And after an exhaustive search, I chose to reestablish my programming career at Origin Code Academy. Here at Origin, I've built a strong foundation in full-stack JavaScript development. So here's the problem I needed to solve. Right now, the way a guest will make a reservation at the hotel is they'll visit our webpage. They'll have to click on that reservation button at the top of the screen. After they click that button, they'll be taken to a regular HTML web form where they'll fill out all their contact information, their arrival, departure dates, the kind of room they're interested in, any kind of activities they might be interested in doing while they're at the hotel. Then they'll click the submit button. That submit button will send an email to our reservations office in San Jose, where the person will look on our handy Gmail document to see if there's any rooms available. If there are rooms available, that reservationist will then go to our Access database, which I designed and built a long time ago. They'll fill out all of that information on the form again. They'll track any kind of payments or payments made or any kind of activities that the client is doing. They'll send an invoice in PDF form back to the client. If the client has any kind of changes, they'll send back those changes usually by email. And that process will go back and forth usually a few times, and it usually takes like 2 or 3 weeks to finalize a reservation. Once that reservation is finalized, we'll send them a link to this page in on our website where they'll put in all their payment information and finally confirm the booking. So this long, drawn-out process is a major problem that I needed to solve. The current systems on the market are either too expensive or they don't have the functionality that we need. I mean, I know I'm not like rebuilding the wheel here, but I actually calculated that by implementing my own solution and not using any kind of cloud-based reservation system, the money I will actually save will pay for my tuition here at Origin in about 5 or 6 years. One of the challenges I ran into right away was the extreme complexity involved in building a reservation engine from scratch. I mean, to paraphrase Donald Trump, no one knew that building a reservation system was going to be so complicated. So to solve this problem, I actually found a legacy reservation system that was written in PHP. And I set out to rewrite the system using Express Server and Node.js following their programming logic. However, this created another challenge because I didn't know any PHP. So it took about 2 weeks to teach myself enough PHP and get to the point where I could actually finally start the project. So here's the solution that I created in a little less than 2 weeks. Okay, so right now, the guests will come to our webpage. They'll be able to input here on this little widget that I built, the check-in dates. the checkout date. They'll be able to input how many adults are coming, how many children. They'll be able to sort the results by either price, from lowest to highest, or from highest to lowest. I will do highest to lowest because it's our rule. And once they click the this button, they'll be taken to a page. Well, the dates will be checked against a MySQL database for available rooms. This page will show them the rooms available, the price of the room, and the final price of their final cost of their itinerary. So in a week and a half, that's as far as I got. But eventually, as I build out the system, they'll be able to click on the reserve button here, and they'll be able to reserve the room. It'll block it off in the database, and they'll be able to progress with the reservation. I also built a back end, or a back office, I guess, system for the owner of the hotel, or for my hotel, for me, I guess. It uses authentication to be able to get in. So if you write a wrong password, it won't let you in. Once you write the right password, usually password 123. It'll take you to this form, which I need to continue to develop, and all the booking information will be populated in this form. So that's how far I got. That's my reservation app. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
So what was your process for looking at that PHP hotel management system and translating it to Express? Like walk me through that.
Well, I mean, as you know, like PHP is a server-side language. All the GET and POST requests are actually embedded inside the script. So I basically had to pull all that out and translate it into the factories and the controllers needed to develop the Angular JS front end. I mean, once PHP is actually pretty close to JavaScript. I think it's actually like written JavaScript, and written part in JavaScript. And so even though the syntax is different, the kind of the structure of it is a lot of the same. So once I was able to pull out the PHP backend and get that into the Node.js server, it kind of started falling in place. But it took me a while. Like I said, it took me at least 2 weeks just learning and looking at the code to try and figure out how to do that. Did that answer your question? Yeah. Anybody else? Yes.
So your motive for going to Origin was just so you can figure out how to create your own program to
that was like a major motivation. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, I kind of have the idea, the vision that someday I'd like to monetize it so I could sell it to other hotels. But yeah, it'll take a few more months of development to be able to get to that point.
That's good so far.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, excellent. Cool. Thank you guys very much.
Maybe unplug it. Maybe unplug it and plug it in.
It's not one thing, it's another.
Well, it's always something.
I think it's just leave it out.
Yeah, I left it in. I think it's this thing because the green light kept turning off.
Okay.
So I think we just have to keep it.
Alright. Okay, thank you guys for coming out to our demo day. My name is Casey Ledbetter. I'm one of the 3 developers that worked on this project. A little background on myself. My original area of study was actually kinesiology. I really enjoyed the process of improving the body to make it better, faster, stronger. But I felt like I was missing something. Fast forward a couple years, I actually started working into it, and I really saw myself getting into technology and computers. So that's eventually what led me to find Origin. And after I found Origin, I found that coding isn't actually just about math. It's actually really about critical thinking and problem solving on like a higher level. And as soon as I found that out, I committed myself into becoming a full stack web developer. And that after learning at Origin, I'm ready to dive deep into my learning of coding on computers.
Hi, my name's Keaton Lulo. Before Origin, I was a cook, and that wasn't exactly my ideal career path. So I was looking into going to college, and a friend of mine who had graduated from Origin told me to come and check it out. So I did, and I loved it. So my experience at Origin is awesome because not only do they teach you the logic and how to program, but they also teach you how to learn efficiently.
Hi, my name is Roxanne Zua. Before Origin, I was a receptionist at a clinic. Then I took some time off, became a mother. And after being at home with my daughter, I decided I wanted to do something new in my life, and I started began a new career. And so I heard about Origin through a friend who came here, and he had a wonderful experience. And Origin's been awesome.
Alright, so this is our project, the Talent Club. It was presented to us by a gentleman named Neil Bloom. He is a regional representative of Hired.com.
What he presented to us was an exclusive membership-based networking organization. So we present to you the Talent Club.
So a little bit about it. It was created to network leaders and influencers and make it easier to find mentors and guidance in different careers.
So these are some of the technologies we used. We used GitHub and Trello to organize us better.
Yeah, and we use AngularJS for our front end, and we also use SendGrid to send out emails and communicate with our users and our admin side.
We used Passport for user authentication. We used Stripe for credit card payments, MongoDB for our database, and Express and Node.js for our backend.
So this is a visual representation of the user experience. We start off in the landing page, then the user will sign up, and then they will be sent to a pending page. Meanwhile, the administrator will receive an email from us, sending them a link to the admin page so that they're able to approve the member. Then that member will receive an email / a link to the Stripe page. Then they're able to log in, and then they're able to go into our website.
Let's not just talk about it, let's view about it and move on to that demo. So this is our landing page. Let's say your friend just is really excited, got a job through this networking event because he talked about Talent Club and he joined the club. This is kind of our landing page and the layout. So now I'm you want to sign up, and we go right into it.
And so here he's going to enter in all the information for the input fields. There's also a field for a LinkedIn URL, so the administrator can view his page, see his experience level, and see if he's a good fit for the club.
Okay, that's apply. Not what we want. Technology guys.
We're doing it live.
Let's just reset this. Which might actually be because we didn't do it the last time. There's
Shield your eyes.
jumping a little ahead. There we go.
So it sends them to the pending page.
Yes.
And now they will be waiting for an email to come to them, letting them know what the next step would be.
So this is going to be on our admin side. The email has been sent out. You have a new application. This gentleman named Casey. You can click on the LinkedIn, check him out. And full functionality. I think this guy is looking for a job, by the way.
I'm pretty sure that guy is too.
Oh yeah, didn't you saw him up there? Okay. So at this point, you can log in as the admin.
Now, when he logs in with the admin, this is the standard login form that this will take him to the admin page.
Boom. And there we are. Now last pass. So this is actually we already alluded to it before, but Johnny Cash is a little extra. We want to show you that you can remove members if they aren't a great fit, and you can approve them. If you guys notice the little star over here turned yellow, meaning that they are now a member, which will then send out an email to the email provided saying congratulations, you've been approved. And then this will bring us to our Stripe payment page where you pay to become a member.
Well, essentially, after filling this out and it is approved, you will be given access to the website.
This is my real information, guys. Don't steal it, please. There we go. Upon approval of the Stripe payment, you are permitted to join the club. And you're able to log in. Typing your password, authentication through passport.
And it sends them to the splash page, which shows the meetups page, which is the meetup page that Neil wanted us to embed in. And then it also shows us a link to the Slack page that he wanted us to create for him. It also gives us room to add extra things he wants to in the future.
Potential newsletters and other benefits of joining the club. We have a nice Slack channel here. If you go back, you're able to log out. Let's try to the beginning. And that is the town club. Any questions you guys have for us? Is that good?
Yeah, so I'm noticing with these projects, you guys use a lot of different languages. I guess ultimately, how did you come to the conclusion of choosing that language? Like why the Mongo database over PHP, that kind of stuff?
That's a very good question. So why did we choose the languages that we chose? We used Angular primarily because we were most familiar with it. That's what we had been working on recently. We actually chose Mongo as kind of as our curveball. We weren't too familiar with it. We challenged ourselves to learn a new language and database and work with that versus what we previously worked on before.
The other thing is Mongo works really well with Passport. It's been around longer, and so there's a lot better documentation. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
You have questions?
I'll ask the generic question. What was your favorite part? What was the most difficult part for you guys? Your personal opinion.
First.
What was my favorite part? I would say that my favorite part was when my tests passed. I would say that that's my favorite part. My least favorite part is when they did not. But yeah, I would say my least favorite part would be trying to implement Passport, because it is very difficult
to get a grasp on?
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that I liked was, or the things that I enjoyed the most was when I successfully, figured out how to do SendGrid and make it work and how to pass all the information through. I mean, the hardest part or like the most difficult would have been like just learning something you're not used to and trying to make it like super polished for an end presentation. So.
My favorite part was all of it. It was really cool to see how everything flowed and to see that everything ended up working for us. Yeah, my least favorite part was probably working with trying to embed the Slack channel because there's a lot of, since it's like owned by somebody, it's really hard to kind of work around it to get it to work into our own website. Any more questions? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Alright, so we're going to grab everyone and do certificates, and after that you'll go straight onto the elevator, straight up to the 11th floor. It'll be the very first suite right after you get off there, and then there's food and drinks and all that kind of stuff there. So as soon as we get everybody in here, we'll start with the certificates, and then we'll head upstairs. So.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Oh, that's right.
Okay. So at this point, I'm going to hand out the certificates for cohort 12 that are graduating. Before I do that, I just want to give like a nice round of thank yous to all their friends and family who have helped them get through these 12 weeks. They've been pretty grueling, and pretty much they couldn't make it through without you guys. So big round of applause for. Obviously, thank you to all the students as well, and also to the other class for supporting these guys through their demo days. So it's also really good to see all that collaboration going on inside the Code Academy. Thanks, guys. All right, without further ado, I'm going to call you out name by name. When you come up here, I'll hand you the certificate, and then please stand there for a picture time. Okay, first up is Brian Chavez.
Sorry, guys, you guys
Thanks.
There you go.
Yes.
You guys have pictures.
Right there. All right, Eric Green. In a second, yeah. I'll pose and look awesome. All right, next up, Casey Ledbetter. All right, next up we have Keaton Lulo. Okay, next up we have Francisco Rodriguez.
Cisco.
All right, then we have Matthew Tran.
Stand back.
Last but not least, we have Roxanne Uzura. That's a real picture. These guys worked on something really hard. Who's gonna hold it?
Oh, you hold it.
All right. Just like that. Let's see again.
All right, thank you guys.
There upstairs in the upstairs floor. Come talk to these guys if you're an employer looking to hire. Otherwise, let's go get some pizza here.
I'm Cameron. Jeff is probably going to be upstairs.
Upstairs? Alright. You want to take a peek in the...
I think I can upstairs or
Okay, that sounds good.
Like one of the employers that just sort of comes to the presentation.
Yeah.
I also just want to meet with them because we've been internship programs.
Okay.
A lot of different coding they're teaching the students, React and Yeah. And for me, I have like tons of, I'm a digital marketing manager there. I have so much WordPress and
Oh yeah, a lot of
work.
stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
You said just out the doors to the left?
yeah, I'll just follow where everyone else is going.
Alright, cool.
Alright, sounds good.